I think, I'm curious to pick your brain on this, but it seems like there's deferred healthcare, but then there's also the possibility of just, did we at some level as a society weaken our immune system? Are we paying the piper with deferred healthcare, but are we also paying the piper by just having everybody in isolation and quarantine for a long time, and then other sicknesses apart from COVID are now maybe hitting us all at once or hitting us harder? Did we in order to avoid COVID, did we build up a wave of flu or other kinds of things that are going to affect us more severely now because we weakened our immune systems by not living normal life? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that there's something to that. I mean, all of the excessive cleaning and hand washing and isolation and that sort of thing certainly reduced the normal exercise that our immune systems get from just being exposed to pathogens in the world. And, what we know, there's this thing called, bubble boy syndrome. Mm-hmm. Where you overprotect and your immune system atrophies and you become susceptible to illnesses that other people wouldn't be. But there's another issue that's related to that that's worth discussion, and that is we're seeing more and more a discussion of a syndrome known as original antigenic sin. So it's a reference to the biblical concept of original sin. Mm-hmm. With the insertion of that word antigenic. So OAS is the acronym that you see in the medical literature. And this refers to a side effect of the vaccines. And it's a side effect that's been known in vaccinology long predating the COVID vaccines. And what it refers to is a curious artifact that when a person is exposed to a vaccine, they develop antibodies for that pathogen, but also specific antibodies, highly specific antibodies for that particular variant is the simple explanation, as opposed to someone whose immune system encounters the variant in the environment and they develop a more broad antibody response. And so what happens in the original antigenic sin, the OAS scenario, is that the person then subsequently encounters a variant of the original pathogen to which the antibodies are not effective. But the body continues producing the original antibodies and is not aware that they're ineffective against the variant. That is, the body's normal system to detect that are defeated by this particular syndrome that's related to vaccines. And in previous pandemics and epidemics, there has been a consensus among scientists that you don't begin vaccination until after the main activity of the pandemic has resolved and you've got a well-known established variant that you can treat because of this OAS problem. And so there is a lot of speculation in the literature more and more all the time that one of the reasons we're seeing negative vaccine efficacy, meaning that vaccinated people now appear to be more likely to be infected with COVID than unvaccinated people. And so one of the hypotheses to explain this is that we're starting to see the product of original antigenic sin due to vaccinating too early in the pandemic and people's immune systems getting locked into those original variants and antibodies for those original variants, Wuhan 1, what they call that original COVID variant, and they're unable to deal with variants like Omicron or what they're now calling BA2, which is the newer, more
transmissible
infectious form of Omicron.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that, Alpha or Wuhan 1, and then to Delta, and Delta was about 2 times as transmissible. And then they said Omicron was 70 times Delta, so 140 times the transmissibility than, the original variant. And then we're saying that, is it A2? Is that what it is?
BA2.
BA2 is, I think people are saying, anywhere from 40 to 70% more transmissible than Omicron. So if you do the math, you're basically saying that now we have a variant that is legitimately 200 times plus the original variant in terms of transmissibility. And the whole rhetoric from the very beginning was that COVID to begin with the original variant was the most transmissible. The R naught was through the roof and all these kinds of things. And so it's like, I don't feel like we helped ourselves very much. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of head scratchers as we get, later in the pandemic, which is another reason for the politicians to go ahead and let's move past it, right? And stop talking about it so much.
Wait. Real quick, before you go, do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you'll be notified with all our new content as it comes out on a daily basis. And if you're willing to support this ministry, you can do so by going to rightresponseministries.com/donate. Thanks so much. God bless.